I have to make under a certain amount for y'all to give me this assistance. But me making under that certain amount, I'm still not able to live. I'm still not able to provide for my family. And if I don't provide for my family, now I'm a deadbeat.
Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk is a podcast where we go to different barbershops in Georgia and listen to black men talk. For the 4th episode, we went to Quad Barbershop in Mableton, Georgia.
Today we have a very special visitor with us today. We have State Representative Cummings. She represents this district, so she'll be a part of the conversation today. It's an open conversation. It's just barbershop talk. That's really what we're here to talk about. Do you feel like that, you're being represented well in Cobb County, or that your voice is being heard? Open floor.
Personally, I mean, I vote, and I don't really see changes that are being made in the community because it's still the same thing going on that's been going on. So it's like you vote for whoever and you put them in office, and it's still violence going on, there's still killing going on, there's still trash on the street, there's still this, it's still this, it's still that. So exactly what are we, and the things that you want to, I think the changes that we want to implement, if the changes aren't being done, then you feel like there's no hope. So that's why people don't want to vote. I think that's why a lot of black men don't want to vote, which I think everybody should vote. But it's like when you vote, and you don't see changes being made, it's like, what's the point? So it's like, well, go to the polls, and if you go to the polls, and then...
Well, it's disheartening that I also have to ask the question, have you contacted your state representative or your state senator or a member of the Atlanta City Council or the mayor's office? Have you contacted anyone if you have an issue or a complaint so that they can address your specific issue? Because that's part of our job as constituents and constituents, issues, because different things are important to different people. Yeah. So somebody may not call because they don't have a trash problem. Meanwhile, you're going through it every day. Right. But if you don't reach out to anybody, then no.
Right. What are some of the powers of the state representative so that we can kind of kill the myth of what you can and cannot do?
Well, the main thing that we do is the state budget every year. That's one of the major functions. After that, we make all the laws in the state. So, and there's a lot that go through every session. Georgia has what I call a very short session, but it's not finished because we come back in January. So it's actually split into two parts. But over 2,000 bills were proposed. Maybe half of them got passed. A lot of Democratic bills go to committee and quietly die because we're not in the majority. Some do pass, but very, very few. So and the third thing is constituent services once we're back in our district. And so I get contacted all the time by constituents. One lady was homeless, living in her car with her son, and they were about to start school. And I actually, and I don't do this can't do this all the time, but I actually took care of her motel rent for a week, and I found somebody else the next week that I found an organization take care of 2 weeks, and now she's fine. Another person is looking for mortgage assistance. Another person is disabled. Their partner left, and now they can't afford to rent. So far, it's been a lot of things like that. But that's mainly what I do. I also try to inform the community about different things that are going on. Like I just had this past Tuesday a discussion at the Mabel House Art Center on House Bill 520, which is a very ambitious and expansive mental health law that impacts everything from tenants, tries to stop the gap from hospitals, homelessness, and jails, and tries to get, if it passes, it's going to get more people into the field with tuition reimbursement. It does a lot of different things, and then one of the main things is to provide more help to the jails and try to set up more avenues so that when people are get in trouble, the answer is not go to jail, because the jail is not the mental health facility, but it defaults to that because people have no place else to go. And one of the other main things to try to do is to remove the stigmatism that comes with mental health problems. If you have cancer, for example, everybody's going to rally around you. People at work are going to try to support you, and you're going to get, like the floodgates kind of open up if you have insurance, because we are in Georgia. So you can get a lot of assistance. But if you're diagnosed as being bipolar or being schizophrenic or something like that, most people don't want anybody to know. And that's because they feel like they're going to be stigmatized, they feel like they're going to lose their home, they feel like they're going to lose their job, and they feel like they're going to lose everything they have, their friends and everything. And so it's pretty important that mental health gets the same kind of attention and the same kind of treatment as any other disease, because studies have shown that mental health is a chemical imbalance. It's not something that somebody chooses to have. And I can give you one instance. I have a good friend of my husband. His son graduated from high school, first year in college, and disappeared. And we had to look for him. Found him. He's having numerous problems. Turns out he got diagnosed with being a schizophrenic. But he's denying it. So he didn't want to go do anything. He's carrying a gun around with him. The police won't take the gun because everybody can have a gun now in Georgia. And after he did some extreme damage to the home where his mother lives, she went and got a restraining order. Well, every time he violated, his mother would call the father to come get him, but he wasn't getting any help. So I did a little bit of research and found that if you get arrested, you can be put into a program. The problem is, I'm telling a black father to have his black son arrested. I'm telling him to call the police. And that was very hard to do. But he was deteriorating to the point where my friend really had no choice. So the next time he violated, they called the police. The police came, there was no incident, and now he's getting assistance. But why should you have to have your child arrested in order to get assistance that he needs? So now he's in a home, I would call it like a halfway house, so to speak, where he can come and go. He's getting the medications and he's getting counseling. But that wouldn't have been possible had he not been arrested and gone to court and put into that program. So that's another thing that this bill tries to address. So I see that as one of my big, especially out here, where people are not used to finding out about legislation and what we're doing. I had 80 people at that presentation and discussion, and it was bipartisan, so it turned out pretty good. But there are a lot of bills that are coming down the pipe that impact everybody in this room, and I don't think that people really pay too much attention to it until something happens to you. With HB 520, it passed the House. Unfortunately, it got stuck in the Senate, and that's why we're hoping to push it through next session.
Why is it that, like HB 20, you just said that HB 20 is a program that it sounds like a good bill. Sounds like a good bill, but you have to go to jail in order to even get the resources. Why is it that we have to go to jail in order to even get the resources that we deserve?
Because we don't have this bill.
Right.
What happens is that it's lack of coordinators, lack of counselors, lack of people trained to deal with this issue, and a lack of understanding that when somebody's acting out and has a behavioral problem or a mental health issue, is not intentional. You know, and so for many years, it's not just in Georgia, I'm from New Jersey, and pretty much the same thing was happening. The jails became the mental health institutions because all the jails closed. I mean, all the mental health hospitals, they closed. So it's a wide-ranging problem, and then every agency does their own thing. So the CAB does their own thing. COB does their own thing. Now, COB does have a mental health and accountability court. And Judge Erin Harris, who is the judge over that, she was at the program Tuesday night. But what she was explaining is that they don't have enough coordinators, enough counselors, and enough alternatives to really help people. But what she tries to do, and her goal is when you come into her court, as long as it's a non-violent offense, because obviously if you kill somebody, that's going to have to be dealt with a different way. You wouldn't be eligible to go back home if somebody's life or if it was a violent crime. But her goal is to send more people home or to a place where they can get help. Because some people, they honestly can't go back. You know, my friend's son could not go back home. And when my cousin, when her son, who lives down here, over 18, he had severe mental issues, was having an episode. They called the police. He's begging the police, don't let me go back inside because I think I'm going to harm my family. He's telling the police this. They arrested him for terroristic threats. That was the response. So after we got through that, we sent him up to D.C. where his grandmother lives, where he has family, and where now he's getting the help that he needs. But Washington, D.C. has an extensive, programs where they'll find housing, the counselors, and whatever that person needs to support them as long as they want the help. But you can't force people. You can't force people to go into a situation that they don't want to be in. Georgia, we're trying to catch up, and that's the good thing. But this bill, like I said, is very ambitious. It's not going to happen overnight, but just getting more people, more social workers. Nobody wants to be a social worker anymore because it doesn't pay. It's not glamorous. So the bill addresses that also, to bring more people, to get more people interested so that we get more people into the field too.
What other bills are going to be passed? You were saying that most people aren't informed on some of these.
Another big area of mine, and most of you can relate to this, is the whole thing with rent control. And you can call it has so many names: affordable housing, workforce housing, attainable housing, but it all means the same thing. But the problem with not being able to afford your rent, not being able to purchase a home that you can afford to live in, and you're working 2 jobs, and you have 2 parents in the home and they're both working and you still can't afford it. That's a problem here in Mableton, but that's a problem in the entire state and the entire country. What's happened down here, this is my freshman year in office. When I first went to the legislature, I was wondering what's being done. And then I found 13 bills that have been proposed last year in 2022 before I took office. Not one of them made it out of committee. Not one. So they all go to committee, they pretty much get squashed by the Republicans and they die. Meanwhile, people out here are like, nobody's doing anything, nothing's happening, So this year again, there was a bill in the House and Senate for rent control. Neither bill went anyplace. There was a tenants' rights bill, an anti-discrimination bill, a bill to make it harder to evict people without due process. None of those bills, they all made it to committee and then they all died. So every year again, because the Democrats are a minority, the bills, and even this year, some Republicans proposed bills too, to help with the situation, because it's not just Democratic districts that are impacted. All districts are pretty much impacted. But you have some in the legislature where they are the landlords, or they have ties to these big commercial ownerships, and right now they are controlling the narrative.
Next, one of the barbers asked this.
Fathers that's low income with kids, what type of programs is set in place for them? Because I'm sure we don't know nothing about them.
There's nothing in place that I can think of that specifically speaks to black fathers. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said the mom's got a lot of stuff, which is good.
Well, what would you like to see?
I don't know. I mean,
Help.
I don't know.
Type of help? That's what I mean. Like
I really don't know,
when you
'cause I'm
say
not-
like nothing's being done and help, I get that, but we can't operate.
I really
When we
couldn't
sit
tell
down
you which way to
and
go.
paper, we need something more
Help with
specific.
housing,
I think
rent, stuff like that.
I think that one thing that that could be
Food
implemented.
stand.
Okay, yeah.
Food stamps for single dads.
Yeah.
If you make the income level, you get that.
Okay, but here's the thing though. When you say the income level, so
Are the requirements.
to have a certain income level to make food, so to be within a certain income level, to gain food stamps, how exactly can you take care of your family? So school clothes, bills, light bill, gas bill, this bill, this. So it's like you stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I have to make under a certain amount for y'all to give me this assistance. But me making under that certain amount, I'm still not able to live. I'm still not able to provide for my family. And if I don't provide for my family, now I'm a deadbeat. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing.
Well, let me answer.
You don't
Let me
think
address
you
one.
going to
Let me
jail
address.
and you ain't got no life.
Let me address one at a time. What you're talking about, that sounds to me like what you are asking for is for the threshold to be increased. That's what you're asking for the threshold level to be increased so that you don't get penalized for working.
Right.
Because even if you're working,
That'd be nice.
and even if you're working 2 jobs, that doesn't mean that you can afford all this, especially depending on how many children that you have.
Right.
So
So-
that's a good ask.
So basically, if you on food, if you have food stamps, you're not supposed to have no car note, and you're not supposed to live in no nice.
You ain't living nice.
You can't.
You can't live nice.
So you just stuck in this one particular area.
Yeah.
Like you can't do no better.
Nope. At all.
That's crazy.
Like you can't, like it's almost like, and trust me, I got a plethora of people that I know that are on food stamps. It is what it is. But it's like people don't want to work because if they work, all that assistance, the Section 8, the welfare, that's gone. That's a wrap. You gonna take away the thing that's supposed to help me elevate in life. I'm getting food stamps so I can feed my kids. I'm getting food stamps so I can feed my family. But if I make over a certain amount of money, you doing all right now, so we're gonna take that away. No, I'm doing all right because I'm getting this assistance. I'm doing all right, so I can save money. Food is high.
Oh no, trust. I know.
Have you seen the price of eggs lately?
Oh yeah.
That shit is high.
Especially if you're trying to eat healthy.
Right. Oh my God. You trying to eat healthy? It's like, yeah, that's high too. So, all right, and then, as far as like, let's say, as a black man, Section 8 for black men, that's just unheard of.
Can you get Section 8 as a black man?
Probably not.
That's what I really wanted
No,
to ask.
no.
I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to sound like, you know what I mean?
Let me pay $120 for rent. I guarantee you I'm coming back.
Hell no.
A lot of people can't get Section 8 right now.
Yeah.
There's no
You said a lot of
room.
people can't.
There's no room. There's no place to go.
Can you get
There's no
Section 8
rent.
as a black
There's no
man?
place to go. There's no homes. There's no apartments.
Yeah.
Landlords do not have to take Section 8 anymore. And single mothers are being kicked out of apartments with their children because their Section 8 is not being accepted anymore. So the problem kind of goes a little bit beyond, can black men get Section 8?
So
And
basically,
that's a valid question. But I can tell you that landlords right now, they're not accepting it. They don't want to deal with it. And unfortunately, they don't have to. And most of the landlords that own the big apartment buildings, they're not even here. They're not in Georgia. They're not in the United States. They're out of the country.
Yeah.
And so Cobb gives them the ability. And it's not just Cobb County where Section 8 is not being accepted anymore. It's in other areas in Georgia too. So the problem is big, but if you are a single dad, you should be entitled to the same exact resources as a single mom.
Should be.
You should, yes, absolutely.
But as a man, you're supposed to be the provider, the this, the that. But I mean, and that's. I feel like what's good. I feel like what's good for one should be good for all.
Absolutely.
So you got some black women who receive child support, whatever situation the case may be. All right. You got some single dads that take care of their kids, and they ain't getting nothing.
And let me tell you, that's because you didn't go ask. Because as a black father, if you have custody of your child, and the mother is working and doesn't have custody, you have a legal right to go to court and file for child support. Yeah. And I know a lot of black dads that have done it. I'm an attorney. I've seen it done a million times. You are entitled to that.
Yeah.
But if you don't go, if you don't ask, the closed fist doesn't get fed.
Yeah.
But you have that absolute right, and you can do it. And fathers do that every day.
Yeah.
So that's one area where there's absolutely, equity.
I mean, she answered that real well, though. I'm gonna give it to her. That was a curved ball. It was. It was good. It was good.
Keep paying your high rent. Ain't no.
My rent $3,500. I got 3 kids. I only make $5,000 a month. I got car note, all the rest of that stuff. Like, I don't understand. And I can't get no food.
But that's still nothing though.
That's what I'm saying. You got $1,500 to last you for the rest of the month.
They want you to eat dirt, son.
No, but hit on that.
Ain't
You
nothing.
said that you're a self-employed person. Like,
I'm a self-employed, and like you just say, you make $5,000.
I didn't say I make $5,000.
No, I'm just saying, okay. You saying you
I
make
make $1,200 a month. That's what I
You
make.
got no, I'm my bad.
I don't make nothing. It's volunteer work.
But what I'm saying is for like people who is like at the end of the day, a person that's working a 9 to 5 or anything like that, you making $25 or $30 an hour, that's still nothing compared to where you got to pay for rent. And then a lot of and I'm from North Carolina and I just moved here, so it's a lot of things that they do here that's very different from North Carolina. Like y'all barely include anything like utility wise to make it easier for people to do, you know what I'm saying, to save. You gotta pay for all utilities. And then on top of that, your rent, people got car insurance.
Georgia Power just went up.
Yeah.
They went up 10%, 12%. Go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you good. I mean,
They will be going up again.
oh my God.
So you know.
So you said we're gonna go up too?
Georgia Power will be going up
Oh,
again,
no.
just so you know.
And see, this is why people steal power. Right
And
there. Right there.
Georgia is still a great place to live, but Georgia, Atlanta was taking off of the affordable housing list. It's not on the list anymore as an affordable place to live. That's official. And so one thing I would suggest to people moving here, do your homework. Because everybody used to move here, especially from states up north, because your money stretched a lot further. That's no longer true. That's no longer true.
What they gonna do about these roads out here? Cause it's mad potholes and they ain't using the right stuff for
Man,
on
I
this
bought
ground.
6 tires last
Nah,
year.
it's true. I just had to buy
6.
With potholes, again, there are people that you can contact for that. But I will challenge you, if you don't send the email, if you don't make the call.
Nah, some of them they fixing, but they ain't using the right stuff to put on the ground, so it don't continue to be going back up.
But that's a complaint that you could lodge and let your representative know, or your council member, know that the potholes being fixed, but because of substandard materials, 2 years later you're right back in the same, and that could be sloppy work by that worker. So I'm not going to place the blame on, every pothole, pothole.
Who do we talk to about a pothole? Who do we talk
It depends
to
on where you live.
So can somebody start a company and just start fixing it?
Yeah.
And then
You
get
sure,
the back end?
if you were to start a company and got a contract with the appropriate city where that road is located, I mean, you could absolutely do that.
Somebody gonna have to do.
But the city does take care of that,
We'll
but
be working for
there's
15
nothing wrong
years
with
now.
competition.
Fix all these potholes.
Speaking on potholes, I just have a question. Does the transportation system ever plan to improve?
Oh boy, transportation.
Because I have so many issues with the transportation.
Georgia,
In the same way
Back-
since.
Since forever.
I'm from New Jersey. And New
What part of
Jersey,
Jersey you from?
Teaneck,
See that?
yes sir.
I know about it.
Home of the Isley brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Long Island, New York.
Okay, and I was born in the Bronx.
I'm from
So-
Philadelphia, so we all.
Okay.
I'm from Memphis.
So,
Nobody really
They got potholes too. We got
but transit is taken for granted. New York, New Jersey, Philly, transit is taken for granted. And New Jersey has New Jersey transit that goes from north all the way down to the south.
That's
Period.
passport.
Georgia's a little bit different, but back in the, I would say 70s, when transportation money was being thrown at the states, Georgia refused the money. Why? Because they didn't want certain areas to be urbanized. And that's still happening today.
You said they don't want to urbanize? They don't want to urbanize?
Oh yeah,
Black people.
Black people, exactly. Where you have certain areas that don't want that transit, don't want that mass transit, because they think it's going to urbanize or bring crime to the area, where it absolutely makes no sense. Having said that, I know here, if you notice, there is no bus service on Veterans. There's barely any bus service on Mableton Parkway, and the new mayor of Mableton, because you guys know Mableton's now a city, the new mayor of Mableton is currently fighting to get a transfer station put over in the Riverside area that will take you all the way around and down to Floyd, because right now that doesn't exist either. But what I'm trying to advocate for is bus service on both of these main roads, because if you don't have a car, you can't go to work on the street. No. You can't go to work on Mableton Parkway, and it just doesn't make sense. So that's an ongoing issue that is currently being addressed, advocated for, and for that, most of that we have to deal with Cobb County. And with Cobb County, unfortunately, a lot of the resources go east and north. And that's one reason why Mableton voted to become a city, because we're tired of being ignored. You know, tired of being ignored, tired of not determining where our tax dollars, go, and not having any word really in anything. So, but your mayor, your new mayor, his name is Michael Owens. He's very accessible, and I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been here yet, but he's very accessible. Okay. But that's something that he is absolutely currently working on with Cobb County.
This episode of Barbershop Talk was brought to you by Black Voters Matter Fund, which works to increase power in marginalized, predominantly black communities. Thank you for watching.
So to expand the MARTA system out here, no.
Okay, so are you saying you don't want bus service?
No.
Okay, well, there you
Leave
go.
them out there where they at.